Think with the doctor. Yes, he's got it. Here he comes. Way rock the baby to sleep.
Until morning. Ewing.
Oh, wow. Oh.
He's going to try to get one more shot off the air. Push the buzzer.
How about that?
Steps over Toronto. He thought about three. He'll put up a three.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. Boom Broadcasting presents 3 from D. I'm your host, Jason Calenzo. Welcome to the show. Thank you all very much for joining me here Monday. That's it. Regular season in the books. 82 games done. NBA now into playoff season. This is phenomenal, fantastic, and going to be a lot of fun, ladies and gentlemen. I'm super, super excited. But let's talk about yesterday. Not a lot of surprises, not a lot of movement, but we did have some important movement, especially when it comes to Clippers versus the Warriors. Clippers, huge win in overtime against the Golden State Warriors, 124-119. Harden, 39 points. Kawhi showing up with 33 points. Some mistakes at the end there for Golden State. Some missed shots cost them the overtime victory and bumped them to the 7th seed. So that Clippers win, along with a T-Wolves win over the Jazz, 116-105, bumps Golden State Warriors to 7th into the play-in. Clippers 5th now. T-Wolves 6th now. So neither one of those teams have to worry about doing the play-in. But now, Warriors woes. This has been a struggle all season for them. Steph Curry, Draymond Green. That was a bad loss, guys. Now you're in the play-in tournament. I don't know if this is going to bode well for them. I thought the Jimmy Butler addition was going to add some oomph to this team. It did at first, but towards the end here, they just fizzled out. And I'm not too sure about these Warriors now, man. I got to see what they're going to do here in the playoffs. But, guys, the playoffs are now set. I am super excited. We got the play-in tournament starting on Tuesday. But final seeds here in the West, Thunder with that first overall seed. Rockets finished 2nd. The Lakers to 3rd. Nuggets 4th, Clippers in 5th, T-Wolves in 6th. Then in the East, you had the Cavs in 1st, Celtics 2nd, Knicks, let's go Knicks, in 3rd, Pacers 4th, Bucks 5th, and Pistons 6th. Congratulations to the Detroit Pistons going from worst to now being in the playoffs. So big excitement there in Detroit. So the way this is going to lay out is OKC is going to play that 8th seed that comes out of the play-in tournament. The Nuggets are going to face the Clippers. It's going to be an interesting matchup, and we'll talk about that coming up here. Lakers-Wolves, which is another interesting matchup there. Those Wolves coming off some good victories towards the end of the season here. Maybe Ant Edwards got some blackout games left in him for the playoffs. Be interesting to see what happens there. And then those young, beautiful Rockets playing some good basketball, playing against that 7th seed that comes out of the play-in tournament. And then over in the East, Cavs play the 8th seed. Pacers versus Bucks, which I think that's going to be an interesting matchup with those two very, very evenly matched teams. Knicks versus Pistons. My New York Knicks. I'm a little nervous about that. I think we can beat them. Jalen Brunson back. Good victory yesterday. I think he's getting his game legs back. He's got some time to kind of rest and recuperate for this next week. But man, don't sleep on those Pistons. Cade Cunningham, man, he is playing unbelievable basketball right now. And then you got those defending champion Celtics in that 2nd seed playing the 7th spot. So let's jump right in to these Tuesday play-in games, guys. So tomorrow night starts the play-in tournament for the rest of this week. Tuesday night, 7:30. You got the Hawks, the 8th seed, versus the Magic, the 7th seed. This is an interesting matchup. Magic, who I thought, especially in the beginning of the year, if Paulo doesn't get hurt towards the middle of the year, Franz got hurt. If those guys don't get hurt, man, I really had Orlando going far this year. Great young team. Lots of phenomenal talent on that team. Caldwell Pope, Blancharo, Franz Wagner, Wendell Carter Jr., Jalen Suggs. They're not to be trifled with. I think they are going to make a little bit of noise in these playoffs, but first they got to get through the Hawks. So Paulo Blancharo averaging 25.9 a game. Franz Wagner, 24.2 a game. Jalen Suggs, 16.2 points per game. So that Magic squad, I have them beating the Atlanta Hawks. Right now, the Hawks, in that 8th seed, Karis LeVert, Trae Young averaging 24.2 points per game, 11.6 assists. Jalen Johnson, 18.9 points per game, 10 rebounds a game. But I just don't think the Hawks are deep enough to contend with the Magic. So that first game, guys, you got Hawks versus Magic. I got the Magic coming out of that with a victory. I think it's going to be really, really tough to beat them. I think the Magic are deeper than the Hawks. Like a little better defense too. So we'll see. It's going to be a pretty good game. Trae Young has stepped up. Ice Trae has stepped up in the playoffs before. So can he will his team to victory to beat those Orlando Magic? Now whoever loses that game plays the 9-10 winner, and whoever wins that game plays the Boston Celtics. So again, I got the Magic going against the Celtics. Celtics going to have a tough time with them. But those Hawks are going to have to play the loser of the 9-10 game. Second game on Tuesday night, you're going to have the Grizzlies versus the Warriors. Two teams this year in the West. Just, man, when you had them pegged, very underperforming. Grizzlies firing their head coach 2 weeks ago, limping into the playoffs. Ja Morant and the drama that he's bringing with him now. Man, I wish he would focus. You see the focus Anthony Edwards is having when the playoffs turn on. I don't see Ja being that kind of person. He's still poking fun at the NBA. Now he's doing the grenade celebration instead of just shutting up and playing basketball, man. Come on. Get playoff ready. Get in the zone. The Grizzlies were 4th in the West. Dropped down to 8th. Just not playing good basketball, not playing focused basketball. Very disappointed. So that 8th Grizzlies team played against the 7th seed Warriors. Clinching on, you were 5th, then 6th, hanging on to that 6th seed, and then a bad loss to those Clippers. I'm worried about those Golden State Warriors. Steph Curry, 24.4 points a game. Steph's going to get his, but who else on that team is going to step up? Jimmy Butler was supposed to be that guy. He's averaging 17 points a game. Not bad. A little over 5 rebounds and 5 assists a game. But is Jimmy Butler, the playoff Jimmy Butler, going to show up? Because we haven't seen him the past 2-3 weeks. He has been fairly quiet, especially in his attitude. He has not played like we have seen Jimmy Butler play for those Miami Heat teams when he literally willed them and dragged them to the finals a couple of different times. So Golden State Warriors, the Grizzlies are going to be a tough out. They got Jaren Jackson Jr., averaging 22 points a game, 5.6 rebounds, great on defense. Ja, 23.2 points a game. If he could just keep his head on straight, and that what worries me is I think, playing against a Draymond Green who like to poke the bear a little bit. I think that the Grizzlies are in trouble. They do have Desmond Bane, also 19.2 points per game. So he's not having a really bad season at all. He's having a really good season. But man, those Grizzlies are just not playing focused basketball. And I worry about them with the interim head coach. So essentially, they're playing with the substitute teacher. And I think that's why Ja is doing what he's doing. It's just like when you had the substitute teacher back in the day and your regular teacher wasn't there. Even them smart, good kids started acting a fool. So, Ja, I need you to get blackout Anthony Edwards game shape right now, man, because that's the only way you're going to get past the Golden State Warriors. So, I have the Golden State Warriors winning this game. I just think the experience they have. I think Butler's going to show up. This is Steve Kerr's going to have these guys angry for falling back into that 7th spot. I think he's been here before. Steve Kerr is one of the best coaches of all time. You can't dispute that. Draymond Green's been here before. You got some new guys, Hield and Podzinski, who, Buddy Hield, 11 points a game. Podzinski, a little over 11 points. But I think those are the kind of guys that you need. This Golden State Warriors team has had players like that step up. A Wiggins, a Looney, and some of those other guys that they have. That's what they need right now because they just have not been playing good basketball or consistent basketball. But I got them passing the Grizzlies. So that Warriors team, if they do win, they go on and play the Rockets, and then that Grizzlies team would go on and play that 8-9 or that 9-10 winner. So, but yeah, let me know what you guys think. Drop me a comment, like, subscribe, jump on Boom Broadcasting, guys. We're going to be talking a lot of basketball here over the next month or so of these playoffs. So right now, Tuesday night, playing games. Hawks Magic. I got the Magic winning that game. And then you got Grizzlies Warriors. I got the Warriors coming out of those games. So let me know what you think. Who do you guys have coming out of those games? And then we'll talk about it on Wednesday's show. We'll deep dive a little bit more into it. But Wednesday's games, you're going to have Heat Bulls, the 9-10 matchup, versus the Mavs Kings 9-10 matchup. That's going to be interesting, especially that West. Mavs, they're dealing what they're dealing with the Luka drama, but AD has shown up a couple of different times here. Those Kings are going to be tough, man. Domantas Sabonis, I think he's completely and totally underrated as a player in the NBA's because unfortunately he plays in Sacramento. You don't get to see a lot of those games unless you live in Sacramento or you're on the West Coast. Us East Coast guys don't see a lot of those, but we'll break that down a little bit here. But Magic got them winning. Warriors, I got them winning, getting through the play-in tournaments here. But we'll see. This is going to be very, very interesting. And then Friday night, you have the 9-10 winner against the 7-8 loser. So, Friday night, you're going to have the East and the West of that 9-10 winner going against the 7-8 loser. And then Saturday's show, I'm going to try to do a bigger show here. We're really going to deep dive into the playoffs and do some true breakdowns of the teams that are in the playoffs and matchups because you're going to have some defensive matchups. You're going to have some offensive matchups. So we got a lot of great basketball to go, guys. So you'll see me on Wednesday. We're going to talk about those Wednesday playing games. And then coming up here soon, we're also going to talk about the lottery teams. We've had some really good basketball this year, and then we've had some really, really bad basketball this year. Bottom of the East, Raptors, Nets, 76ers, Hornets, and Wizards. Bottom of the barrel. And then Suns, Trailblazers, Spurs, Pelicans, and Jazz. That's going to be interesting, especially that Spurs team, guys. I know Wemby was hurt. I know Fox was hurt. But, man, if they get a top pick, or, man, watch out. If they win the draft lottery and you throw Cooper Flag on that team, watch out now, man. So the Spurs have a shot at really being a team to not be messed with next year. But we'll talk about that. We'll talk about the draft lottery coming up here on 3 from Deep, because there is a lot to discuss. So a lot of bad teams out there trying to get better. 76ers, what do they do in the offseason? Do they start trading players away? Do they trade away Joel Embiid? Do they trade away Podcast P, Playoff P, whatever you want to call him, Paul George? Hornets. I got some Charlotte fans out there wondering what the Hornets are going to do. LaMelo Ball. He's good, but, man, his availability is just non-existent. So do you turn around and trade Ball away and try to get some capital for him, some draft picks? So that's going to be very, very interesting. Guys, I am super excited. Short show today, but I appreciate you guys being here on Monday. We're going to do some more discussions here on Wednesday, and we'll talk about the Wednesday matchup here. But, again, playoff is starting. The NBA is heating up. Guys, I am super excited here. But don't forget, Tuesday's games, Hawks, Magic, let me know who you got. Grizzlies, Warriors, let me know who you got. It is time to play some basketball and some playoff basketball. We're finally here in this long NBA season. So, guys, thank you guys very much for joining me real quick. I appreciate you. I'll see you on Wednesday. This is Jason from 3 from Deep, and I will catch you. Peace.